Listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another amazing, beautiful Sunday at Ustyle Magazine Talk Radio.
Hey.
This is your Queen Bee, your host,
Bridget.
And this is your girl, Lonnie.
My girl, Lonnie.
Yes, I'm excited.
I know. I'm always excited when I get up in here.
Yes.
I'm rushing today, y'all, so y'all got to excuse me.
It's okay.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter or happy resurrection.
That's right.
I've been getting a lot of different things coming through the text message, you know.
So let me ask you this, since you brought that up. What's the proper term to use? I mean, what are we using now?
You know what I think is almost what you believe or what you feel, because some people have done their history with Easter and feel as though that Easter is more myth-based, and they feel the way they feel about the Easter bunny and all of these things. And so I hear people say Resurrection Day, and I'm like, okay, where did that come from?
Exactly. So what do you use?
I don't even get political with the holiday. I don't even use anything.
I know. You know what? And I'll tell you, I'm so used to saying Easter. From being a little girl that it's Easter.
And
Easter.
you know, and then some
people when you start talking about
doing too much. It's too much.
You get me confused.
I'm not about to be trying to figure out where to land at. I'm just here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You're not doing
well,
that.
Before we get started, we have a sponsor who's sponsoring our show today, so I need to make sure I get that out. So I want to give a shout out to our sponsor who is sponsoring today's show, the Bougie Collection by Carlene Bowman. So I wanted to say, you guys, of course, reach out to her. She has an amazing collection of beautiful cotton tees, really nice. I'm wearing a hat and t-shirt today, but beautiful designs, beautiful colors, and she's ready, y'all. She's ready for the spring. So it's the Bougie Collection, and she has t-shirts, she has hats, she does custom designs, all of that stuff. So yeah, you guys make sure you reach out to her. Her social media handle, she's on Facebook. But she's on Facebook as Arthur Carlene Bowman, and she's on Instagram as Bougie Chick, and Chick is being spelled CHICC.
Oh, CC.
Exactly.
Getting creative with these names.
Yeah, honey.
Okay.
So shout out to our sponsor tonight, Miss Carlene Bowman, over there at the Bougie Collection.
Yeah,
darling.
shout
you guys
out.
Check her out.
Yes.
Oh, and also shout out to all of those guys over there at Mesa. They did What Your Man Won't Do stage play yesterday.
Everybody heard that play was lit.
It was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
They did a phenomenal job. They had a star-studded cast of actors and actresses that did an amazing job.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Right from the city.
Exactly. Right from the city. So I was definitely impressed. So I want to give a shout out to that whole team over there. Vernon Williams, Lavelle Long, Angelique Long. We also had Raheem Devine was in the building.
Yes, Big
Yanni
G.
Crawley. Yes, Big G was there. KK, also known as Takesha Donaldson, is her government name for all you all that don't know. But she was there. Lisa Renee Marshall was there. Also, our very own Scooby was there. The amazing Grace with her beautiful self, she was there as well. And Cross Thompson with his handsome self.
All right.
I had to refrain from jumping on that stage with him, honey. It was crazy.
It was crazy. Like, sir, meet me in the back.
Exactly. But shout out to that whole team over there. Man, they did an amazing job.
Wow.
They really did.
So are they going on tour with this?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I did hear them say that they were going to take it to Richmond.
Okay.
You know, so hopefully they'll get there. I'm almost positive they will.
Well,
'Cause it's an awesome play. So more cities to come, I'm sure. They also have another project in the works for August that'll be over at the MGM. So that'll be another amazing project that they'll be working on. So you guys, congratulations to that whole team over there. You guys did an awesome job. So I just wanted to say congratulations.
Good.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Weekend was amazing. Busy. I have so many friends that are doing amazing opportunities. They're launching books. They're opening up brick and mortars. They're launching their online businesses. So I've been busy going to launches most of the whole weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And you have something coming up this month.
Oh, yeah. Actually, on Sunday, my first keynote speaking opportunity at a brunch, y'all.
Awesome.
So April is popping.
Exactly. Can you give us the information for that?
Absolutely. So the link is an Eventbrite link. It's a brunch that's going to be held at Carolina Kitchen April the 8th from 11 to 1. And then I have another event April 28th. It's the Beauty Behind the Broken experience. Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
So yes, you have to come, ladies, because we're rocking this mask. We wear it faithfully, and it's time to remove it and get to the nitty gritty so we can find the beauty.
Exactly. And with so many of us launching into our own businesses, we're forming companies and so forth. So we need to,
we want to show up nice.
Exactly.
We don't want to show up ugly.
You are exactly right.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So how can they reach you if they want to get
beautyafterbroken.com.
Perfect. Everything's on your site.
Everything is on the site or Eventbrite. Look it up. And I probably would drop the link, in it. But are you excited about this guest that's coming on?
Yes, I am. I've been waiting anxiously to get the book. I read the entire book in probably about a day and a half.
Have you read the whole book. to just... You ever met somebody? I felt like it was a celebrity, and I was like, hold on.
Exactly.
Is this Ayala Van Zant? Like, I'm waiting for this book. I was torturing my poor mail lady, and she's like, Miss Grant, I'll let you know when it comes. I'm like, lady, she told me it was on her way. Do you have it? I need this book.
Exactly.
Because this person is a beautiful person. Yes. From the time you meet them, they light your spirit up.
I agree.
Very authentic.
I agree.
Nothing fake.
I agree. So would you like to introduce our guest and then we'll take a quick break?
Oh, yes. This guest, La Sassy Harrison. She
Miss
is
Cutie
the
on duty.
One and only.
Got a whole lot to say.
Yes. No one like her. You can't duplicate her. Right. I'm sorry.
That's right.
You may can duplicate many others, but this one you cannot. This comes in a different type of box. I'm sorry, ladies.
That's right.
So, you're about to get the one and the only Miss La Sassy Harrison.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we'll take a quick break, you guys, and when we return, we will have our special guest for the evening, Miss La Sassy Harrison, author of Loving Me in Spite of Me, a memoir. So we'll be returning in just a second.
Oh.
Listen Vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Oh. Listen Vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Oh. Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio.
Hey, you guys, welcome back. We're over here at Ustyle Magazine Talk Radio. We are sitting here. First of all, this is your girl, Bridget.
This is your co-host, Lonnie.
Hey, now.
Yes.
We are sitting here with our special guest. We have been waiting for her all week. We got her. She's been jet setting everywhere, but we finally got her to sit still for a minute and come and chit chat with us.
I am here.
Hi, darling.
Yes.
How are you?
I am good.
How is this feeling right now?
I still am trying to find the word for it. I cannot figure out a word to describe what it is. Because, it feels good. Okay, it feels great. It's amazing. But there's not a word that I've been able to kind of pinpoint that. Because there's a lot that goes, like the different emotions and stuff. So it's different.
Exactly. A lot of emotions. Been a long time. Been a minute. Now it's time to tell your story.
Time.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So tell us about this book.
This is the untold story. Because pretty much all of my life there's always been a story about me, be it true, be it a variation of the truth or just outright lie. And I received the vision to write the book in 2008. That was almost 10 years ago, so it took me nearly 10 years to finish. And initially when I received the vision to write the book was what I thought would be about my life up until 2008.
Okay.
But as soon as I, accepted that this is what I was going to do, I was going to write this story, like all hell broke loose in my life.
Exactly.
And so really the book is about what happened pretty much after I received that vision. And then it just gives you some of the experiences from my childhood that caused me to make the decisions that I made.
And you know what? And I'm glad that you said that because that was my question is that, you're still fairly young. So why did you choose now to do your memoir when you still have so much life left?
One thing about a memoir is you can write 15 different memoirs because they focus on a particular event or a time period.
Okay.
So the way that I wrote this particular story, like I said, I gave, the background information, and that is what the memoir is really about, like the background information, the decision that I made, and then the time that I spent in prison. So that it focuses on that particular mark of time in history, and then I know that now there's more to come from just sharing this piece of my story.
Exactly. Now you shared some very personal and intimate moments in your book, a lot about your childhood, your upbringing, your mom, your dad. How hard was it for you to open up for the public to know your entire story? How hard was that for you?
It was more difficult in that I didn't want people to think that I'm telling the story to expose other people. Exactly. Because I am at a position or a place in my life where I can face certain things that happen to me, other people may not be in that place. So you have to be really careful about telling stories that involve other people, because if they're not ready to facilitate their healing, it can set them back. And so it was really difficult for me in that regard. I just really wanted to make sure, and that's why I put the note at the beginning, look, this is about me. These are my experiences. This is how I remember things happening. This is about me, not anybody else. Exactly. So it was a little easier for me in that I understood that this is my purpose and this is my calling, and I'm not going to have peace until I walk in the thing that God has for me to do. Exactly. So it was a little easier for me to go forward, but I really had to think long and hard about how I told the story.
Exactly. Now, I do know that you suffered sexual abuse. I'm sure with that came emotional abuse. How did you handle that at that time?
At that time, it was the when I didn't love me in spite of me. So I was going through the spite of me piece of my life. And the dangerous part about not having self-esteem or having low self-esteem and a low sense of self-worth is you attach yourself to people who treat you exactly how you treat you.
Wow.
So because I didn't love me enough to make the decisions that I needed to make for myself, I then attached myself to friends, boyfriends, just people in general that were just as parasitic to me. Like we were all sucking the little bit of life we had out of each other. And I didn't know any better,
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Now, I know in your book you talked about meeting, you had several girlfriends that you met that were from Spartanburg, South Carolina, such as yourself. And you said that they kind of went through the same thing that you were going through when you found out. Was that something that was kind of normal in South Carolina? Like, how did you guys form this bond going through the same situations?
I think it's normal in the Black family, period. You know, like, I don't think it's particular to any place. I just think that there's a lot of things that are going on behind closed doors that nobody ever knows about. Because, you know, historically speaking, Grandma says what goes on in this house stays in this house.
You're right.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know, sleeping under the rug.
Say that to this day.
To this day,
Don't go out
you
there
know?
telling nobody my business.
Yeah.
You know, family business is family business. And it used to shock me to the core when I found other people that may have grown up across the street from me that were going through the same things. But then I started to, you know, recognize it was that we as a people tend to not really take mental health all that seriously.
Exactly.
Like, you don't go see a shrink, you go pray about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or you don't tell what goes in the house. Like, you keep that business to yourself. So I'm thinking that now with, you know, like the social media and people being more comfortable talking, hopefully it'll shed some more light on the problem in the community.
Exactly. Well, I know because, Lonnie, you deal with it a lot too.
All the time.
Yeah, you deal with a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, it takes a special type of person to even want to tap into something is wrong.
Right.
I want to be healed. It is easy for other people to look at people and say, well, why they act the way they act?
Right.
You don't know their story. And some
Exactly.
people don't want to dig. I mean, it's already hard enough that you went through it. So now you saying, I got to go and mess with it again and pick that
Exactly.
sore and pick it back.
Exactly.
People don't want to do that,
Right.
you know. So, you know, on the outside, a lot of people can be judgmental, especially when you see mental people on the street and you're like, oh, they crazy.
They crazy. That's it.
Right.
They're crazy.
Right,
It's easy to say that, but you don't know what caused them to snap. Everybody tolerance to stuff is totally different, and somebody could have triggered them.
Exactly.
And I'm quite sure in the time of you writing your book, what just came up for me was, as you was writing this, were you ever triggered?
I still am triggered. And like, I always like to make sure that people understand that just because I wrote the book does not mean I'm all the way whole and healthy.
Right,
This is
right.
just, this is my therapy.
Yep.
You know, and because I put it out the way that I put it out, now I'm forced to talk about it. So if there's an issue that comes up, I'm pretty much forced to deal with it because now, you know, I'm in the public eye. So people are watching, and believe it or not, there are people who are waiting on me to fail.
Yeah.
So I make sure every day that when I'm going out or I'm talking about it, I'm making sure that I'm not putting a Band-Aid over stuff that I really, really, really need to dig into.
And being transparent, I think that's the biggest thing. One of the things I see on your social media is just being transparent. Like, this is where I'm at. Like, again, it's therapy. It's not a, I'm healed now that I wrote this book. Now I'm telling my story. No, that's just a piece of the healing.
Right.
Like,
You know
let's
what?
be
And,
clear.
and that is true because you do find that, you know, you try to be transparent and you want to be transparent, but then you always have those, well, she on there, she telling all her business. Why is she on there? And they don't, I guess, those that are very opinionated when it comes to stuff like that. I personally feel
But you
as
know
though-
what, Bridge? Like, I'm learning that people are very strongly opinionated about something they have never, ever had any experience
Exactly.
with.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
and another part about it is when you get to a certain point in your life, especially when you choose to write a book or do anything on a public platform, you have to really dismiss the opinions of people.
Exactly.
Like, good or bad.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like, you can't let the support and the praise go to your head because then you
Nope.
turn into somebody that you really shouldn't be. But you also have to make sure that the naysayers don't get to you to the point where you
Right.
stop.
Exactly.
Because there's one person counting on you, just one. It
Yep.
doesn't even have to be a large audience. So
Exactly, exactly. Now, I know that you mentioned you started writing your memoir before you went away. And you ended up giving it to your attorney at that particular time. At what point did you say, you know what, I need to write about my life? I need to write about what I have gone through this far. Because you clearly started before.
I
You
did.
saw something going on that made
Yep.
you sit down
It
and start
clicked.
writing this stuff out.
And remember, I thought that the book was going to be about my life up until 2008.
Right.
In 2008, I was married, 2 children, 5,000 square foot house, good job,
Right.
2 cars, and a fish. I think we didn't have a dog, but like, you know, everything looked like, oh, I have made it, I have arrived.
Exactly.
And God was like,
Exactly.
okay, just playing.
Right.
And so I ran from it. When things
Right.
started to get really bad, I was mad at God. Like, what do you want me to write? Why am I writing about this? You said that if I do this, then you're going to do this. But my outlook was so bleak. Like, I had a
Exactly.
small mind.
Small.
Like, when he was telling me that when you write this book, you'll be free from captivity. I thought that meant he was going to let me out of a cell.
Right.
No, he was freeing me from the prison of my own mind. You know
God.
what I mean? Like, even being free, there are people who are mentally bound to the point where they cannot live.
You are
Yeah.
exactly right.
You know, and that's the release from captivity he was talking about the whole time.
Exactly.
But he had to put me, I tell people all the time, I had to find myself in a prison cell to find myself.
Oh my God! You know
in a
what?
prison
And that's
cell.
what I was just about to ask
That's
you.
your quote. I hear you say it a
Yeah,
lot.
that's what I was, because do you find sometimes, and I know this from personal experience, do you find sometimes God will remove you and he will put you by yourself just for your mind to just quiet down for a minute?
And he never says where he going to put you
Exactly.
Yes.
You are
And
exactly
another
right. He
thing
will remove you
is-
from everything and everyone that you are familiar
You're
with,
with.
just to get you by yourself, by whatever
Means.
means necessary. So that jail cell was your quiet time.
And I had no choice.
Right.
It was either go crazy, kill myself,
Exactly.
or just listen. Stop being so stubborn.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I discovered that I say a lot too is God said that he was going to make my name great.
Right.
He didn't tell me how he was going to do it.
Exactly.
My God.
And when I was trying to make it great the way that I wanted to see it great, every single time he'd be like, all right, I'll let you play.
Right, exactly. I'll let you think it's
Then-
about you.
right, I'll let you
You're
think
gonna
it's
find
about
out it's
you.
not about
And
you.
then-
Yeah, yeah.
So
Exactly. And I know that you do reference the Bible a lot, and verses in the Bible. Is writing this book, was this sort of kind of like a spiritual practice for you?
it was, but when I wrote the bulk of the book, I had stopped believing in God.
Wow.
And it's so crazy that once I got to the end and I was talking about the process of clay, I feel like my process was a little harder than it had to be
Right.
because of my unbelief.
Right.
But I know that God knew what I was going through. And he was like, I'm going to let her have her moment.
Exactly.
I'm going to let her be because I know she'll be back.
Exactly. So at what point did you realize that this is God again?
I don't know that it was a particular like moment in time, or I don't know what it was. It was just that peace that surpasses all understanding just kept coming.
It clicks.
Kept
Right,
coming
right,
and kept
right.
coming. And I mean, when I wasn't talking to him, I wasn't praying.
But you
Like,
didn't have to.
I didn't. I was trying to be Muslim. I was doing everything to get
Wow.
away from what I knew was in me. And I think
Exactly.
it had to do with just fear of actually doing it.
Right, right. Now you're sitting here now, this very strong and positive and motivational and empowering woman to a lot of women that are going through your situation, have gone through your situation. I think that's amazing. But if you could take yourself right now and talk to the little girl in you years ago before you even, what would be your words that you would say to her?
You are beautiful. You are intelligent. It's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
And to do whatever it is that you can put your mind, or you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to.
Exactly,
Because those are the things that I wish that I had heard.
exactly. So how does it feel to know that you're inspiring a lot of women just from your strength? Because you explained some very, very personal. You know, I remember reading one paragraph in there where you said no one even showed you how to, I guess,
Like hygiene. None of that.
Exactly. As a woman, no one even showed you that.
And you know, I got a comment from a young lady who was actually reading the book, and when she read that particular piece, she said she put the book down and she sat down and she talked to her daughter because she just assumed that she knew.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what happens, especially nowadays because we're so busy being busy.
Exactly.
That the smallest little things kind of slip through the cracks.
Exactly. Exactly. What period in your life? Because you went through several periods in this book. You went through your childhood. You went through your teenage years. You went through your young adult years, and now an adult. So you went through several phases of your life thus far. Which one of those were the most challenging?
I think my childhood was the most challenging, only because I didn't realize that I had a voice. Like it didn't click that I could actually say something.
Right.
Even when I was incarcerated, I understood that I could still, there were repercussions if I chose to speak,
Right.
but I understood that I could speak out if anything was happening to me. In my childhood, I didn't feel like I had a voice. And because I felt like I didn't have a voice, I was acting out in other ways
Right.
because that was my way of trying to say that something was wrong.
Wow.
So.
Wow. What did you want someone to do as a young child? Like, what did you lay down at night and pray somebody would come to you and say,
My God.
this?
You are enough. That's it. And
That
I say
sums
that
up
all the
everything.
time.
And
I am enough.
And sometimes people don't realize that.
That sums up everything.
Yeah.
You are enough.
That's it.
Exactly.
And it keeps you, like, when someone constantly tells you that you are enough, it keeps you from trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
Or, the whatever. It keeps you from trying to get everybody to like you, or it keeps you from trying to just live on
Somebody
everyone
else's
else's terms.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you are enough, you are enough.
Exactly.
And once I embraced that I was enough, then everybody else was like, oh, yeah, you are
You
kind
are
of dope.
enough.
Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So,
Exactly.
Because you gave yourself
Right.
permission to be dope. Like, to have that worth. And that's saying people treat you how you allow them to treat you.
Exactly.
You teach them.
Is very true.
Exactly.
But if we don't have no worth, they treat us the
they
same
treat
way.
you exactly how you treat yourself.
Exactly. So how hard, even for the both of you, because the both of you have written books explaining your childhood and the traumas that you went through, how hard was it for you guys to have to go back and remember those bad years and have to write them down on paper? How hard was that? Because I would have been in tears. I've been in tears the whole time I'm writing my book from the beginning to the end.
You know what's crazy, though? And for me, I had to write my book 3 times.
Really?
Because every time that I would go for it, it would get lost. Or I had to give it away. Or I wrote it on, and I saved it on a thumb drive. And for years, I could not remember that password. So I had to not only do it once, twice, I had to relive it over and over and over again.
Wow.
But I believe that was a part of my therapy. Like, if the first time I wrote it would have been what I gave to you, it wouldn't have been the truth.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have dug really deep to give you what you needed to get to
And
feel
did you
what
feel
I
like
felt.
that's what you need? You needed to dig deep.
Because every single time I had to dig deeper to remember it, because once you try to repress those memories. So I had to dig a little bit deeper the second time, and then I was like, all right, I'm not doing this no more.
And that's amazing when you realize how you have covered stuff up for so long.
You
that
think you
there's
forgot
layers
about it.
and layers and layers of stuff that you have to dig down and get to. Wow.
And then not just stick the dirt back on top of it. You have to fix what's
Exactly.
broken so
Exactly.
that you can keep moving.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a rough process, but one thing for me I think helped me was I got a life coach, and she had me digging deep, and I cried a lot. It was times I had to put down a chapter and say, I'll come back to that next week.
Wow.
And she helped me to say, okay, what's coming up for you right now? And because my uncle was so mentally abusive,
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
thoughts
say,
was coming back.
Your uncle was
He was
a primary
I mean,
abuser for you.
Yeah, so it was like his voice kept coming to me in the book like, you who you think you are?
Wow.
Writing a book, you just like your mother. And I had to constantly tell myself, like, it's just his words. He's not even here anymore.
Exactly.
I'm not about to keep giving him power. He stole my childhood. He can't do that
right.
again.
That's
So
right.
it's like you have to keep talking to those thoughts, but having a good support team that you can vent when those things are coming up. And I think a lot of people don't get through their book probably as fast as we did because they don't have a good support and they stop, they quit. I can't deal with that. That just came up. And then they put it off, and it's been 5 years. It took us a little of no time.
Exactly.
Well, after I decided that I was actually going to do it.
Okay, now I'm
Well,
going
if
to do
you
this.
think
this
about
time,
it,
right?
like when you really, I remember meeting you at Trusted Smallwood's event, and I remember meeting you, and you're like, oh, I got this down now. Probably about your 3rd time at this point. But once you got in it and the healing was taking place, it was done.
Right.
Because
That
you
was what-
did
that
the
was
work.
January, right?
That was January. So you started to do the work. So I try to tell anybody who's going to talk about childhood trauma, I need you to go get some healing.
Right.
You have to do the work before you think that this is going to be it's going to blossom.
Exactly.
Because there's going to be too many thoughts that's coming to you that you're trying to fight and right. Like you can't fight and right. It's too much.
Exactly. Now you mentioned, I mean, you mentioned healing, and I know in both of your books, again, you told some very personal situations that went on in your life and in your childhood and growing up and family business. Mm-hmm. Did you find that once you began to open up and talk about those things, people began to look at you differently?
I got cut off, but I was good with that. Like it wasn't, my closure wasn't, my story wasn't about how they was going to feel because I didn't mention anybody's name. I just referenced people as uncle, aunt. Mm-hmm. So I didn't put people names, same reason. Sassy thought the same thing, but I did get aunts and uncles that said like, oh, I heard you wrote a book.
Right.
But that was it. And I was fine with that. I was like, okay.
Wait a minute. She's sitting over here with the kick.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem.
Right.
But before I started to do anything, I isolated myself. Well, I didn't isolate myself. I protected my peace. So I have put myself in kind of a bubble of protection.
Right.
And if that's what they think, I would never know it. Because, for example, like my husband's the admin on my Sassy Says page. So if there's anything crazy to ever come through, he's like, block. Awesome. So I would never, I don't know.
Awesome. No, even with your husband, were you afraid to open up to him about?
Actually, no.
Awesome.
It was our, second date? And I was like, because I was feeling everything about him, but I was so afraid that if he knew like all the ugly stuff, he would just run away.
You?
So I was like, let me get this out of the way now, right now.
Exactly.
And I did. And he did the most romantic thing. I'm gonna put you on the spot just a little bit. So we're sitting. And
see, that's what happens when people bring their spouses. Next time you'll sit in the car.
So we were walking around downtown and just happened to sit down on a bench right in front of the Justice Department. And I looked up and I was like, I wonder what that flag means. And when we talked about it, figured out it was a Justice Department flag, I was like, this is a sign I need to tell him about my past.
Exactly.
And so I told him, and I'm crying, and this man takes his finger and he takes my tear and he licks it. He's like, you can't waste your tears. And I was like, oh my God, for real.
Make me cry. Hush, I said.
Jesus. That's beautiful.
Awesome. And he's still like that to this day.
Wow. Awesome. So did you find that it was hard to find love after being broken?
I stopped looking for it.
That's a question.
I stopped looking for love. I was so afraid that it was going to hurt that I was like, I'm good. I'm good. And then as soon as I stopped searching, love found me. So
exactly. Awesome. Now I know that you wrote in your book another one of the awakening moments in your whole ordeal that you went through was taking that ride from the courthouse that you had taken every day to go to work, but this time you were going in a different direction.
In a different direction.
Would you say that was your lowest point?
No.
Wow.
My lowest point was on the day I got sentenced. And a statement was made by one of the victims, and she said, you'll never be anything. No, she said, you'll never be nothing. And she was like, I'm going to grad school, and I'm going to get my degree, and you're just going to rot in prison.
Wow.
And I'm standing there like, really?
Exactly.
And because I had heard stuff like that all of my life, and then at this point, at this defining moment, I know I'm going to prison at this point, and I hear it again, I start to internalize it. And I started to really and truly believe it. Like, they said this my whole life, and then here I am, and this is what's happening. Maybe it's true.
Wow.
So.
Exactly. So I know that you're going to get into some speaking engagements, or have you gotten into some
Not
speaking
yet.
engagements?
I mean, I've had some talks about it, but not
Exactly.
yet.
Not a problem. What advice would you give to someone
that
is going through that or have gone through that?
If you don't love you, nobody can love you.
Right.
So whatever the situation might be, abuse, bad relationships, whatever, if you don't love you, nobody can love you.
Exactly.
And people are only going to love you at the level that you love yourself. And if you don't know how to love you, fake it till you make it. look in the mirror and say, I love you, even if you don't believe it just yet. Because if you keep saying it to yourself over and over again, and you stop picking yourself apart when you're looking in the mirror, and you actually start to say, oh, my eyes are pretty, or oh, I have a nice smile. Like when you really start to validate you, then the love starts to grow. And then people are attracted to that beautiful part about you. Like, we put on makeup and we do this, stuff we do. But it's something when somebody can love you with no hair and no makeup.
No edges.
No eyelashes. Like
Even
you
no
had
edges.
ass today. So, but it really takes a level of comfortability with yourself to expose yourself to somebody on that level.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. How did you choose what parts of your life you were going to share in this book? Like, was it the selection process? Like,
It
did
was.
you start writing and say, oh, no, I'm not going to tell that yet?
well, I mean, when it came to me, I didn't have a problem.
Right,
But again, I didn't want to share certain things about certain people because it would just, it would, the appearance would be that it was me
attacking somebody
else.
You're
And
right.
that's not healing for me or them.
Exactly.
So there are very traumatic parts of the book that are just not there.
Exactly.
I might talk about them. I probably will talk about them, but
Exactly.
I haven't received the clearance, I guess you can say,
Right,
from God to
exactly.
speak on that kind of stuff. Yes.
Exactly. So what did you want to do growing up? Did you ever think that you would be an author and a public speaker? And
Ain't that
encouraging
somehow
women?
God has a sense of humor? You be like, God, this wasn't even in my vision at all.
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little girl.
Really?
Oh,
Well, it's not like
Sassy
night
the
and day.
astronaut.
And I still, I'm fascinated with the moon and the stars. Like, I can just stand. And I'd be like, ooh, baby, look at the moon. And he's like, okay. Because I get really excited about stuff like that. But
Exactly.
That's what I
Wow.
wanted to do.
I like that. I like that.
Wow. So the question I have for you, I know you have two little ones. How do they look at you? Like, what are they thinking in their mind? Like, oh my God, my mother is an author.
To me, I'm a rock star either way it goes. And
Isn't it
I
something
think,
when you can be a rock star to your kids?
especially
I know you
because,
just love it.
I was away and that kind of thing. But like, the way they light up when they see me,
Exactly.
like, I don't care if I never sold a book or I never had a platform. Like, for
Exactly.
those two people to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they love me for real.
In spite of what
in
went
spite of
on.
That's
everything,
right. Exactly.
that right there is payment enough for anything that I've ever gone through.
Wow. That's big.
Exactly. Now, what do you want to encourage women to do the most?
I just want to encourage women to love each other. Like, me included, we pick each other apart sometimes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like, ooh, why did she put that on?
80% of the time.
Or, and I just feel like we just need to do a better job with latching on to each other because, like Lonnie said, there's a reason that people act the way they act. Like, people just don't wake up one day and decide that they're going to be X, Y, and Z. Like,
Exactly.
you're not born with hurt
Exactly.
and anger and bitterness in your heart.
And you know what? And even with that being said, I find that sometimes people just want you to ask them, how are you?
And
Yeah.
really mean it when you
Exactly.
ask them.
How
Yeah,
are
be
you?
authentic.
Exactly. And generally want to hear how their day is going.
Because it's like a child. You know,
Yeah.
if your child is acting now, you go to daycare and you like, how's your day? They like, you notice me?
Yeah.
That's how adults are.
Exactly.
Same thing. It's nothing different. Some people are not used to hearing somebody tell them you love them. Like I
Right.
tell people,
That's
they're like,
right.
oh, my name's so-and-so. I'm like, I'm a hugger.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
me too.
I'm like, I'm a hugger. They're
I
like,
hug people.
really? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No handshakes.
You are exactly right. You're exactly right. And I know for me, I'm always, I love you. I
Yeah.
love you. I didn't say I was in love with you, but you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my friend. I
Right.
love you, and I care about your well-being.
Yeah,
That's
and
just-
some
that's
people are
me.
not used to that, so
Some people are
sometimes it's
not.
like, did they just say they love me?
Exactly.
Like, I did.
Exactly, because you know what, and that's funny because even like some people, I might say, "I love you," before we hang the phone, and you can kind of hear a
The
hesitation,
and
yeah.
it's like,
Did she mean to say that?
right,
Like,
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Especially if it's
Exactly.
the opposite sex. They like,
Right.
oh, I'm like, no, not in that way. That's clear.
Exactly.
Let's be clear. Just as a brother or sister, because we don't hear it as much.
That's right.
And we
That's
need each
right.
other. We're all connected in some form of way,
Exactly.
but we got to encourage each other.
Yep.
Exactly. So if you could write the next 3 chapters of that book, what would they include?
Of this book?
Exactly.
Or a
This book
new
is
book.
finished.
Exactly.
Oh, a
You
new
continue.
book.
Yeah.
Well, there is a continuation,
Awesome.
Absolutely.
and it's called He Loves Me in Spite of Me.
Awesome.
So it digs more into my journey to self-love and how I was able to allow someone else to love me in spite of me. So those are the next chapters.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see there? And I didn't
See?
even know that. Look
Yeah.
at there. Look at there. Something
And
was
that's
already in
big.
the works.
That's big because that's a good topic to talk about because, again, a person who's transitioned from such trauma, they don't think somebody can love them
Yep, you're right.
because they went through all of that stuff. So
you're
you
right.
kind of, oh, what you mean you like me? You know what I've been through? And they're like, yeah, but like you said, your husband said, don't waste that
Don't waste
tear.
no tear.
And you like,
Exactly. And even when he said that kind of take you back. Like, were you like,
Yeah,
is
it
he
kind of almost
serious?
fell off the bench.
all right.
Flip backwards. Like, you talking to me?
Wow.
Exactly.
But I had a gift for Miss Sassy.
Aw.
So
Did you bring me one too?
I sure did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I brought you a different gift. But I had one of my friends, she make desserts, and I wanted her to make Sassy this high heel shoe.
You know what? I kept
Is that
eyeing it
edible?
over there, and
It's
I didn't
edible.
know what it was.
It's in chocolate.
Look, oh my gosh!
Because
look at
in
that.
life, she's standing.
Yeah,
She's
can we-
standing on everything that people threw at
that
her
is
and told her
awesome,
what she
Lonnie.
was not going to be. So now you're going to take this heel and stride with it. That's what I thought. So
Oh, that is adorable. Now that's an amazing gift. I absolutely love it.
Lonnie?
I love that. I'm jealous.
oh, I got a gift
But that
for you
is
too.
so cute.
Thank you.
And it's chocolate.
It's chocolate.
Put some peanut
Look
butter
at
on
that, girl.
Yeah, it's chocolate, girl. So that means you're
Man, orange
still
is one of my favorite
standing.
That's right.
You're still standing.
Thank you.
I love that.
I love it. You see
I love it.
It's a
I'm just sitting here because I thought it was an actual like a.
I thought
you
it
know
was.
how
I was
they
gonna put it
have
on my
those
desk.
products
But
and
this is
Yeah.
edible.
Yeah, hold cell phones and stuff, but it's actually edible.
Yes.
I like
So
that.
shout out to DC Creations.
Okay.
She's amazing, and
Yes.
I said,
And
"Girl, I
where
need
can
to
someone
hook up."
find her? Because that's a very unique.
Oh
gift.
yeah, she does all the fondant and anything that you want to custom make. She's the bomb.
Awesome. So DC Creations.
DC Creation, Miss Debbie.
Excellent. And she's
Debbie
on
at
Facebook
DC
as DC
Yes.
Creations. All right. Well, y'all get to DC Creations. She's on Facebook. This is very cute. I like it.
Yeah, she's
Very
gonna love the
unique. I
taste
like
of it.
So shout out to DC Creations. I like
Yes,
it.
and I got some candy apples for these queens as well.
Yes, I love candy apples too. Okay, this is a lot.
Wait a minute.
I do. I got excited.
Yes, ain't nothing like a good candy apple.
Perfect.
And not
So-
from the Safeway.
So in closing, what's next for Mrs. Harrison?
Mrs. Harrison is living her best life. I try not to plan too far in advance because I don't want to get busy just planning. I want to live
In the
every single
moment.
second that I possibly can. So just stay tuned.
Perfect.
How can they
Stay
find
tuned.
you?
So my website is www.sassysaysso.com.
Okay.
And also on Facebook at Sassy Says So and Instagram at Sassy Says _so.
Perfect. Now I know your book is still selling like hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
Blowing my mind like every
Exactly.
day. It's blowing my
Exactly.
mind.
Y'all don't
So
got
how
one.
how can they reach you to get this book?
So the book is on my website. So if you go to sassysaysso.com/book,
Okay.
you can either choose the Kindle version or the hardback version. So
Okay. Is it on Amazon as well?
yeah, only the Kindle version is on Amazon.
Okay.
Perfect. And now, Lonnie, your book's still selling, so let's
Selling-
go and get yours in
Yeah,
there.
throw it on out there.
Selling like hotcakes. Beauty after broken, the girl in the mirror.
That's
Childhood
right.
trauma. We talking about it. We getting these women healed.
That's right. Exactly. And how does it make y'all feel to know that y'all are helping women?
It's amazing.
It's mind blowing,
Right.
It
Because
is.
it's effortless. Now it's effortless.
Yeah, it's
I used to
effortless.
think about, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. Now I just talk about me.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be anything other than me.
Yeah.
And being just being me. And people are like, oh my God, I love you. And I'm like,
Look,
for
that's
real?
what I told her. I said, why you don't go live more? I'm on her live on Instagram. And she was just being her. It wasn't no specific topic or
Exactly.
anything. Sassy was just
Exactly.
being sassy. I said, why you don't
Exactly.
do live more? She was like, I've been saying I was, but I don't be thinking I have anything to talk about. I said you, not you.
But did y'all ever think that you weren't qualified?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
sometimes
absolutely.
you'll get that little bug in your ear and you'll be like, I'm not qualified.
Or
to
people
do that. I
around
ain't gone through
you
enough
because
to be
they
able
feel
to
like
talk
you
to
have to have all
somebody
these
about-
degrees, you
Right,
gotta have all
exactly.
this paper,
All these
so you feel-
followers,
all
you
these
know,
followers.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
But we have a specific audience that's assigned to us.
Yes.
You
So
told- you said
we
that
can.
one day to me,
I tell people all the
and
time.
Yes, and I keep that in my head. You have to focus on who's for you.
That's it.
Yes. Everybody is not going to like you. You're not going to be everybody's taste. So you focus on those that are focused on you.
That's
That's
right.
it.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
it. That was a
Exactly.
great way to close it out,
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm writing a book. All
Yep.
right, y'all.
Yay, Bridget! Her book coming out in June. Stay
Crazy.
tuned.
So thank you all. We are about to close another amazing show over here at Ustyle Magazine Talk Radio. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, shout out to our sponsor this evening. She's over there at the Bougie Collection. So make sure, again, you guys connect with her. She's on Facebook as Arthur Carlene Bowman. She's also on Instagram as the Bougie Chick. And Chick is being spelled CHIC.
CC. Yep.
So make sure you guys connect with her. She has some beautiful, as you can see, cotton tees with all type of gorgeous, colorful designs just in time for spring. So make sure you get in touch with her, connect with her, and continue to follow us on all of our social medias. Again, we're on Facebook. Bridget Ustyle Mag Davis, also Ustyle Magazine Talk Radio. We're also on Instagram and Twitter as Ustyle Magazine. And make sure that you are staying connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Yes.
which is Ustyle Magazine as well. There you'll be able to find all of our previously recorded broadcasts, catch up with us, see what we're doing, where we're at, and how you can get involved. We will see
Absolutely.
you guys next week. I want you all to have an amazing Sunday. Or
An
amazing
amazing
week.
week.
Yes, because as always, we are always happy to help you guys get your week started. So that's right. Get ready for Monday. New things, new blessings.
things.
Some
New
great things are going to be happening. Stay tuned next Sunday, you guys. I will be having the mayor of Bladensburg,
Absolutely.
Mr. Keisha James, will be joining us, as well as
Yes.
her husband, who's also running for public office as well. So they'll be in here joining us next week. Just letting us know how we can help with what they're doing. And we will see you guys next Sunday. Same station, WLVS, Listen Vision Live, Ustyle Magazine Talk Radio. We'll see you.